Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth Rose.
I'm Emily Bell.
So today we are going to talk about the Villicsa Axe Murder House.
Indeed.
Right.
Right.
We're not going to go too much into detail about this though, so I'm only going to be covering the basic story that occurred at the Villicsa Axe Murder House. Villicsa, according to a railroad employee, met a pretty place or Pleasant View, which is funny because I play The Sims a lot and that's the name of the town. In reality, the town was named after a old Indian word, Villicsa, which meant evil spirit.
Ooh, that's a bad omen already.
Yeah, and that's crazy, right?
Yeah,
like that's
yeah,
so
that's
weird.
Insane.
Because I'm sure they didn't really know that. So on June 10th, 1912, the town of Villicsa was shattered by the horrific discovery of the Villicsa Axe murders. So the Moore family was found dead in their beds along with two neighborhood girls that were staying the night with the family. Well, yeah. So the family consisted of the father, J.B., the mother, Sarah, and their 4 children, Herman, Mary Catherine, Arthur, and Paul. And I'm sorry if I'm looking down a lot. It's because I have a whole list of notes here that I'm kind of reading off of. And I didn't memorize it. That night after church, Mary Catherine invited sisters Ina and Lena Stillinger to spend the night. At 7 a.m. the next day, Mary Peckman, the Moore's neighbor, noticed something was wrong. She ended up calling JB's brother, Ross Moore. So Ross Moore discovered the bodies of the Stillinger sisters. He immediately called Mary for help after he discovered the sisters. So he walked in, he saw the 2 girls in the guest bedroom, and immediately ran back outside and told Mary to call the peace officer.
Oh, wow.
The officer ended up investigating the entire house, and he found every single person dead in their bed. And he also found the murder weapon, which was an axe, in the guest room that these sisters were staying in. Doctors concluded that this murder took place between 12 and 5 a.m. They found 2 cigarette butts in the attic that from either the killer or killers that indicated that the murderer or murderers were there waiting for the family to get there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So imagine that. They were getting ready for bed. And they were like planning, these 2 girls and Mary Catherine were planning the next day, ready for a whole day of fun, only for all that to happen. It was weird too, is that this killer or killers could have been in the attic listening to every single bit of their conversations.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because I mean, the house is older, first of all, so it's gonna have thin walls. So I mean, yeah, you can hear everything. If you ever toured old houses, yeah, they're really thin and you can hear every footstep.
I'm thinking about like how quiet they had to be in the attic to not tip off the family.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, that's really true. The murderers or murderer began in the master bedroom. They took the blade of the axe and hit JB in the face. And then they took the blunt end of the axe. They bludgeoned Sarah. Then they made their way downstairs and they found the kids' room. All 4 of the children, the Moore's children, were staying in the same room. They bludgeoned every single one of them. And then they went downstairs and they bludgeoned Lena and Ina. And they found Lena in kind of a sexual pose. Her underwear was off and her position looked like she had tried to defend herself. I think she even had defensive wounds on her arms.
Yeah.
So she was the only one, they think, that knew of the attack and saw the attacker. They also believe that this killer knew JB because he had more wounds than everyone else in the family. His face was unrecognizable. Unrecognizable.
Yeah, definitely seems like someone had a grudge against him to do that kind of damage and not do the rest to the rest of the people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There were many suspects during the investigation, but no one was ever charged with the murders, so the case remains unsolved to this day. It didn't help either that during the investigation, before the officers and investigators could really look at the scene, everyone in town just ran in the house and was looking at everything.
Oh yeah.
So
that seems to be a common thing among like early murders, like early 20th century murders. You know, no one knew at the time how to properly preserve a crime scene, so people would, you know, be there in the crime scene who wasn't supposed to be there, or they'd be touching things and that kind of thing. So that seems to be a common theme.
Yeah, it was. And they just ruined the whole investigation. If anything was left behind, we don't really know. They don't really know.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, the case remains unsolved. But the house is still very active and it's very haunted, apparently. I've never been there, so I can't say for sure, but I have heard rumors that the killer is at the house.
I have been to the Villicsa Axe Murder House. That's me there. And I don't know if you can really see it, but it says Villicsa Axe Murder House, and I was there.
I'm so jealous of
On
you.
the summer. Yeah, by the time we got there, it was like really early in the morning and they hadn't opened the house for tours, so we had to go. So I didn't get to tour the house, but I did get to see the house, so that was interesting. It's in Villicsa, Iowa, by the way, but it's really small town.
They've only ever had 2 occupants stay in the house that actually bought the house and lived there. Both of those occupants were haunted very severely to the point where they moved out. There's an episode of Ghost Adventures where one of them is stabbed. And it's interesting because one of those occupants was carving something with a knife, and he said that he felt the knife turn and stab him in the hand. Yeah. So I feel like that must have been the killer's ghost. Yeah. And they say there was also a psychic that went to the house. But she was trying to communicate with the spirit that was inside the house. And he said that, she was like, "Why are you here?" And he said, "I like it here."
Yeah. I can imagine that house has tons of activity. Everyone that was killed, you know, it's so sad and tragic. And then also, you know, there may be the spirit of the person that killed him in the house. So that's a breeding ground for all kinds of different activity.
Oh, yeah. They say that they also know or hear that the kids are in there a lot, and their spirits are still really playful and active, and they like to dance and play music, and they also like to play with toys. So they leave a bunch of toys in the Villicsa Murder House, and they like to, I did watch one video where they play with a ball, and they just scoot it back and forth, and that's really cool to watch, actually. I'm like, there's no way, unless the floor is warped really bad, which I can't prove because I've never been there, then yeah, I would think it was something.
Yeah.
Like a spirit playing with them. But I can't prove that the floor's warped, so.
And I know that the house is open for tours and that kind of thing. Is the house open for people to like stay there overnight?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It actually is. You can stay there overnight and have your own little ghost investigation.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really, sounds really cool.
It does, yeah. That would be interesting to go and stay there.
Yeah, I would love to go and stay there because that sounds really cool.
It does.
They have, in the videos I watched, they have little bells all over the place.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I'm wondering if they use that for like, or put that up for the children.
Yeah, they might have.
They might have done that. But it's interesting. There's also a very similar place to the Axe Murder House where they put toys in the attic and stuff for the children. It's an old neighborhood somewhere around here. I gotta look up the name of it, but I've always heard the rumors about it. It's next to an airport, but it's just a street of old houses, and every single person who owns one of those houses puts toys up in the attic for the children, the ghost children, to play with.
That's so creepy.
So that is the tragic story of the Villicsa Axe Murder House.
We'd really like to hear if you've like ever been to the house and you have like any experiences. That would be really interesting to hear.
Yeah.
So be sure to let us know.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You're somehow important.
Somehow. I don't know how.
When did you get popular? Okay, who wants to go first?
You.
Oh. Villicsa. I can't even say it. I can't even say it. Villicsa. Oh my gosh. I love how you do that.